Hello there and welcome to the Card Grotto. Today I'm sharing a fun technique, negative ink blending. I'm using some older products from Altenew today, so let's get started. The thing that I need the most in this technique is masking paper. I like to keep my masking paper in one of the 9" by 11.5" pockets so that I can keep all of the large pieces and the scraps together. With Altenew masking paper, the pattern is on the back of the masking paper. So anything that you do with this masking paper, whether you stamp, die cut, anything like that, you want to do it on the plain side. So I've got a panel of masking paper cut to 4¼ inches by 5½ inches. And I'm taking one of the largest tags from the Terrific Tags die set. I'm placing it down into the middle of this panel. I'm going to hold it down with some low tack tape and then run it through my die cutting machine. Essentially, I'm creating my own stencil here using the masking paper. So just running that through, and then I can remove the positive, which is the tag. I just want the negative, which is the outside shape. I'm then taking a panel of classic Crest 110 solar white cardstock and I'm placing that down into the stamp wheel, making sure that that's right in the bottom left hand corner. I can then place my stencil mask over the top. I'm just going to use that as a guide of where I want to stamp my image. So I'm taking the tulips image from the Cartoon Tulips stamp set. This is an older set, but I thought that the image would work really nice for this technique. So I'm just using that kind of stencil mask to figure out where I want to place my image, because I want to have the kind of each sort of side of the tulips overhanging the tag by about the same amount if possible. Once I'm happy with the placement, I can bring in the top flip plate of the stamp wheel to pick up that stamp. I can then remove that masking paper. I didn't stick anything down at that point. I'd literally just placed it on as a guide. I can then ink up my stamp using Obsidian Pigment ink. This is a really lovely dark crisp black ink. So just stamping that really well onto the image. And then once I'm happy with the amount of coverage of ink, I can flip over that top flip plate and stamp that down onto the cardstock. I like to just make sure that the bottom two corners are in place of the stamp wheel first, and then I can press that down. And although I do want a good impression here, I'm not too worried if it isn't perfect. I'm not going to double stamp at this point like I usually do, because I'm going to do that later on. So I'm just pressing that down really well, way longer than I actually need to, but never mind. And then once I'm done, I can lift off that top flip plate. I'm going to set that aside to dry, and while I'm doing that, I can take the Cartoon Tulips die and I'm going to cut that from some more masking paper. So I've held that in place and run that through my die cutting machine, and now I can remove that from the die. And for this one, I do want the positive of the masking, not the negative. So I'm now going to remove the backing from the masking paper that I cut the tag from. And I just found it easier to start at the top of the panel. So I'm just going to try and line this up as best as possible. I cut my masking paper to the same size as my panel, just because I thought it would be easier to try and line them up. Just want to make sure that that tag is centered on that panel as best as possible. It doesn't matter too much if it's slightly out, I can cut my panel down, but ideally I want to try and make it straight. So I'm just lifting up that masking paper a little bit. It wasn't quite right. So just popping that back down, and then I was happier with that, and I can press that masking paper down. It did crumple a little bit in that bottom left hand corner, well, the top right here. When I flip it round, it will be the bottom left, but that doesn't matter as long as I've got the shape of the tag fine. It doesn't matter about the rest of it. I can then remove the backing off of the flower piece, and then I can lay that on top. And it is a little bit difficult to see here in the video, but in real life I can see the stamped lines through that masking paper, so I can try and line it up as best as possible. The benefit of using the die as my masking is that I'm going to get a white outline around the outside of this image. You don't have to do this. You could definitely stamp it down onto the masking paper and then fussy cut the image out with scissors. Personally, not only did I think it would be easier just using the die for this, I also really like having that white outline around the edges of the image, because then in the end it's going to look like I have stamped and die cut that out and put it on top of a tag, when in actual fact it's all going to be one layer. So I've placed the panel down onto my sticky mat, and then because I wasn't 100% certain if that masking paper layer was the same size as my card kind of panel here, I may have just accidentally not lined it up perfectly. So I'm just going in with some masking tape just to make sure that I cover up those edges. I want to make sure that I don't get ink blending on those. I can now start with the ink blending. So I'm taking the Pinkalicious Fresh Dye ink from the Cherry Blossom Fresh Dye ink collection, and I'm starting off at the top of this piece here. So I want to fill in the areas of the tag. So I'm using a small blending brush and I'm going in circular motions, and I want to make sure that I get really nice coverage of this ink. I don't want to see the white cardstock through it. I want it to essentially look as if it was a tag that I have placed down onto my panel. So I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. I'm creating the shape of a tag today because my series with Altenew is Terrific Tags with Michelle. But actually I really love the kind of image here with this tag. I think they work really perfectly together. But if you have different images, you may want to have a different shape. So you could do a circle here, you could do a rectangle, you could do a diamond, any shape you wanted to. You could also do multiple images as well if you wanted to, depending on what shape you chose as your background. But for me, I thought that this tag shape worked perfectly with this particular image, because I've got lots of negative areas in between the stems and the leaves. You can see the shape of that tag really nicely in the background. So I'm now going in with Deep Iris Fresh Dye ink from the Shades of Purple collection, and I'm just going to blend this together with the pink and then move it further down to kind of like the bottom of this tag. And I do just want to add a little bit here towards the top of these flowers on either side, just so it looks like the kind of pink is blending in with the purple. And then I can go in with a Midnight Violet at the bottom. And I do find with these shades of purple inks that as you add them on, apart from this colour actually, this one it comes out as like a red toned purple, but the other ones do tend to come out as more of a blue toned purple. But as they dry, they kind of change their colour slightly and they all become more of a red toned purple. And I think that this is going to work really nicely with the pink at the top. I am going in very heavy-handed with this colour at the bottom. I wanted it to be really dark and then lighten up as the tag goes up. Kind of a bit of like an ombre look, but I'm going in with the pink at the top rather than a lighter purple. So just trying to blend those as best as possible. I am going in lots of different directions with the brush because I've got lots of kind of nooks and crannies where the mask is. I want to make sure that I get into all of those areas. So now I've finished the ink blending, I can do my favourite bit of any kind of masking technique, and that is to remove all of the masks. So I'm started off with that masking tape around the edge, and now I can go in and lift up the flower mask. So I'm just going to carefully lift that up. I know that this is unlikely to come up in one go. It doesn't really matter because I'm not going to be able to reuse this mask because it's got so much ink on the top. But from an aesthetic point of view, it's just quite nice being able to remove it in one go. So I can lift that up and you can see that nice crisp black and white image underneath. I can then remove the outside piece. And at this point I thought, oh, maybe I might have ink on my fingers because I didn't kind of wash them or anything after I did the ink blending, and I'm a bit of a clumsy ink blender, so I do tend to get ink on my fingers. I want to make sure that the outside edge of this panel is completely white, so I kind of moved my hand a little bit here and I'm using the side of my hand to hold the panel down, or my knuckles, and then removing the mask with my other hand. Like I say, I want to make sure I don't get any fingerprints here, but I could have just gone and washed my hands, but I really wanted to lift up this mask because I thought it was just going to look so pretty, and I do really think it does look very pretty. Quite a stark kind of contrast between the flowers and the ink blending behind, and then you also get that crisp white outline around where that tag is again. So I am going to double stamp this image, like I say, because when I lifted up the masking paper, it did lift up a little bit of the ink as well. So I've placed that back into the stamp wheel. I've inked up the image again with the Obsidian pigment ink, and then I can stamp that down. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was a little bit worried at this point. What if I didn't get the panel in the exact same place? So as I lift up this flip plate of the stamp wheel, I did hold my breath. Thankfully, everything lined up perfectly. And I do think adding that extra layer of ink on top really does make quite a big difference. So I can now adhere my panel down onto an A2 size white card base. So that's a finished size of 4¼ inches by 5½ inches. And instead of adding the adhesive onto the back of the panel, I'm adding my glue tape onto my card base instead, just in case my panel isn't completely dry. It actually was at this point, but I wasn't sure. So I'm just lining up the panel with my card as best as possible. And then once I'm happy with the placement, I'm going to bring in some scrap paper and I'm just going to use that to press the panel down. Again, I want to make sure that I don't accidentally smear any ink or get any kind of fingerprints or anything on my card. I have then stamped a sentiment from the Enchanted Roses stamp set, and I've cut that out using the coordinating die. I've also cut 2 layers of the die from white cardstock, and I'm just layering those on top of each other. This is going to help just add a little bit of dimension onto the card. Since my card obviously is completely flat, although it looks like it's got dimension on it because I have got the tulips on top of the tag, obviously it is completely flat, which is great if you want to make a 1-layer card. I decided just to add an extra layer on top with the sentiment. So I've added some more liquid adhesive onto the back of that, and I can place that down onto my card, and I'm just going to place it down really lightly first. Bring in my T-square ruler just to make sure that that's straight before I stick it down. So I can just press that down, and then to finish off I'm going to embellish with some clear iridescent stellar sequins. So I'm adding small dabs of glue onto my card, and then I can pick up the sequins using my tweezers. And I just personally prefer to do one at a time rather than add in all of the glue and then go in with the sequins. Just personal preference really. What I do like is because my image is all completely flat with the tag behind, I can add one of these sequins overlapping the edge of the tag, and obviously I wouldn't be able to do that if it was an actual layer. And the reason for me doing that is just so that because my sentiment is kind of overhanging the tag slightly, I wanted to overhang one of these sequins slightly on the other side just to balance it out a little bit. And then I can finish off with this last one here, so adding a small dab of glue, and then I can pop the sequin in place. So that is the card finished for today. I kept mine very clean and simple, but you could definitely step it up and add some pattern onto the background if you wanted to, maybe with a background stamp or with a stencil. But I really love having the contrast between the black and white image and the negative ink blending with a nice colourful background. Links to the products that I used will be listed in the description bar on YouTube and also over on my blog. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.